Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at justkeepswimming_podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. 1-3, dropping the hot beats for the city as always. So please make sure you guys check out his latest projects. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch up the format of the show a little bit. And I just want to explain what's going to happen in the future so you guys can understand what's going to happen. I think that will really help with more engagement and just more thoughtful topics so we can just dive in deeper on certain topics. So what we're going to do in the future is we're going to start to kind of do like a 2-week segment. So the first week, which is going to be this week, is going to be just kind of bringing up the topic and discussing a little bit on it. And then the following week, we will dive deeper into it. But that will give you guys a chance, the listeners, the opportunity to, send in their perspectives and their ideas on the topic as well. And then we'll bring that up in the episode to come when we, pretty much wrap up the topic. So hope that makes sense for you guys. It should be pretty easy. I feel it'll be more engaging and more fun, and just give us more in depth, because sometimes I feel like we touch on something that we could have touched on a little more, and I just want to make sure that we don't leave any stones unturned. So for today's episode, we're going to start off with our preface for next week, and I think I'm going to call this right here, Create Your Own Quote. So today in the Daily Stoic, I read this amazing quote, and I just want to read it with you guys today. So the quote is, "For it's disgraceful for an old person or one in the sight of old age to have the knowledge carried in their notebooks. Zeno said this, but what do you say? Cleaneth said this, but what do you say? How long will you be compelled by the claims of others? Take charge and stake your own claims. Sometimes prosperity will carry in its notebooks. So I kind of butchered the quote real big, trying to read it out loud and, talking to Mike at the same time. But pretty much what that quote was getting to me was pretty much saying, we quote all these people in life all the time, but what are our quotes? What quotes are we going to leave in our notebooks for others to read so they can quote us? And I think that right there is actually a really interesting topic because, me, I do a lot of reading and I do quote a lot of people. But at the same time, I also been, thinking about my own personal philosophy and what quotes I can leave in the world to, help enhance the world, help advance people. I kind of been doing it in the schools a little bit, trying to leave some quotes in these kids' heads, even if it's a short, quick one, because, I know quotes can go a really long way. So why do I think it's important to make your own quote? it's because it's about you. I think the quote that is going to come from you is going to come from your own story, from your own perspective, from your life experience and things you've been experiencing. And during your experience, nobody else can experience what you experienced. So it's like best to come up with a quote for your experience that you can possibly share to the world. So, I think that right there will be something that will be a great exercise for all of us to do this week. And that's something I'm truly going to do. So my challenge for everybody is going to be, step one, let's try to take a quote that we already love and let's try to reword it or refurbish it or reorganize it to make it eligible in 2024, because there are some quotes out there that just don't apply no more. And I'm gonna come up with some examples for those for the next episode, no question. And then my next idea for everybody is let's come up with our own personal quote or our own personal philosophy, our own personal statement about whatever we want it to be, using our experiences in our life as the example for the quote. I'm sure we all went through many, many things, and there's lessons that we've learned and that we probably hold inside, but we don't share. So, let's start to open our minds up and start to, figure out how we can get these quotes out so we can share them to our world, so we can give it to the younger generation, or maybe some people from the older generation may need to hear it. Who knows who may need to hear the quote. But that's my challenge for us this week. Let's take a quote, let's refurbish it to make it our own, and let's create our own very own personal quote. So I hope that right there rendered with you guys. Sorry about that. Hope that rendered with you guys today. If you guys have any questions or you guys want to share the quote that you created, you already know you can reach out to us via DMs. You can hit us up on IG, on Facebook. You can email it to us on Google, and we'll make sure to shout you out, share your quote. And if there is even anything you want to add to it, send us a voice message and we'll add your voice message to the episode as well so you can hear it. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to take a deeper dive into creating our own quotes and share the quotes that we created. And I'm also going to do a little look to figure out what quotes don't apply no more and we possibly should start using, or like you said, we can refurbish it to create it for the new world that we're in right now. So I think that's a cool little assignment for everybody. Just something to help everybody think. It's going to make me think for sure. And then we'll be back next week with another amazing episode, following up on this episode, talking more deeply about quotes with Mr. 13's mindset as well. And we're also looking for a special guest to join us as well for that day. So I think that will all be amazing. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you already know you can always reach out to us. I hope you guys have a great day, a marvelous evening, a splendid afternoon, and remember to just keep swimming.